In this video, we're going to show you how to use this little device, which costs next to nothing, to get a hair loss assessment that approaches world class, all from the comfort of your home. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Rob English. I am a researcher focused on hair loss. I publish papers related to hair loss disorders. I'm on the editorial board of a dermatology journal, and I make content like this to help individuals who are fighting hair loss and looking for a path forward based on the evidence. Now, every week, I personally speak with hair loss sufferers who were initially misdiagnosed by their first dermatologist, often out of sheer laziness for not doing something like a dermatoscopic assessment, or maybe not knowing how to interpret the markers they saw at a microzoomed level to know that someone's hair loss case was just a little more complicated than it first seemed. This device puts the power of a microzoomed assessment into your own hands.
The power of this
microzoomed assessment
in the palm of my hand.
And if you're presenting with health, scalp, or hair symptoms that make you feel like your hair loss is not a straightforward case of androgenic alopecia, my personal opinion is that it is definitely worthwhile buying one of these things, holding it to your scalp, taking a few dozen photos, and then getting expert assistance on how to interpret what you're seeing. And this video is here to give you that exact roadmap without you even needing to leave your home. Now, the goal here is not to scare you into thinking you're probably misdiagnosed, because the reality is that if you have slow onset hair loss that's chronic and progressive, if you are presenting in a typical presentation of hair loss, if you don't have any scalp burning, scalp itching, or scalp pain associated with your hair fall, if you don't have any autoimmune or other health ailments that have coincided or preceded during periods of hair shedding, and if you're responding well to FDA-approved hair loss treatments, you're probably okay. Chances are that you haven't been misdiagnosed. But if you do have rapid onset hair loss, or maybe hair loss in an atypical pattern, or if you have scalp burning, scalp itching, scalp pain, and maybe concomitant autoimmune or health ailments, and if you're not seeing any success with FDA-approved hair loss treatments, now your risk factors for being misdiagnosed have actually greatly increased. And you might have a partial or completely wrong diagnosis. Now, if you've seen our videos before, you might know the devastating consequences of a hair loss misdiagnosis. Watch our video interview with Alessandro, watch our interview with Carlo, read our post about Abraham, watch the video that we recently made about people I've recently worked with who were originally misdiagnosed until we found them better dermatologists. I'm not cherry picking here. Most of them are from the last 2 months. Misdiagnoses can delay your access to proper hair loss treatments. And in almost all the cases that we've seen, we've spotted the risk factors by first listening to somebody's story, their overall health, their scalp conditions, their hair history, and then having them buy a device just like this, and then submit photos to us of their scalp at a microzoomed level. And it was this exercise where we saw markers that clearly were not typically seen in straightforward cases of androgenic alopecia. And that prompted us to find those individuals new dermatologists with a specialty in hair loss. And then they did a biopsy, which then came back with a different hair loss diagnosis, confirming our suspicions, which then changed these individuals' treatment trajectories forever. So I want to walk you through how, even outside of our support, you can do this work yourself. The rest of this video is actually clipped from one of our larger videos about the challenges people face getting a real hair loss diagnosis. I think we called it something like the Fermi-Hairy paradox. I highly encourage you to watch it if you can. It's one of the most important videos that we've put out. But if you don't have time, that's totally all right. Here's the section of that video that is most relevant to this topic, the one where we cover how to use these devices. I hope that you enjoy the video, and I also hope that you see the hope that I do in these exercises. I think that we're not too far off from having an incredible assessment of our hair from the comfort of our home. This gets us as close as we possibly can without seeing a real dermatologist. I would never neglect the importance of seeing them, but just make sure you pick the right ones. Check out that other video, and in the meantime, here is that video section. I think that this tool here is doing more to democratize high-quality hair loss assessments than anything else out there. And while it's not a dermatoscope, with the right approach, you can use the tool and some other tricks to approximate the experience of a best-in-class hair loss appointment. Here is how you might want to approach this. After you get the device, charge it, turn it on, download the app to your phone, and connect it via a Wi-Fi signal. At this stage, I often find myself wondering, is this little device stealing all of my personal data? And the answer might be yes. I don't know. But this video is not about data privacy. It's about getting answers for your hair. And I think it's worth the risks. So get it connected if you want. And if you don't have to. But after it's connected, turn on the light, pop off the lens cap, Part your hair and hold the device to your scalp and then press it firmly against your scalp skin. This is very important. Press it firmly against the skin. Now, with your free hand, focus the zoom not on your hair strands, but on your actual scalp skin, because we need to assess the quality of your skin. Are there white scales or yellow flakes? Are there arborizing blood vessels? Are there dark purple or blue hues to certain skin regions? Are the hair follicle openings, the ostia, clearly visible? We need to look also not just at the skin, but at the hair follicles. How many hairs per hair follicle cluster are you averaging? Do we see hair diameter diversity? Do we see tapered hairs, dystrophic hairs? Are there empty hair follicles? Is there the absence or the presence of vellus hairs? Are there upright regrowing hairs? Every single one of these markers tells a story, and the constellation of the markers that are presenting can reveal things about your hair loss case that would never be detected upon a simple visual inspection. So in total, take 30 to 50 photos from all over your scalp, the front, the top, the crown, the sides, the back. Label them by region if you'd like, and then throw them all into a Google Drive folder. Now, this is the stage where if we were working together, I would go and personally look at every single image of yours and then record a video of me identifying all of these markers, matching that to your visual presentation of hair loss, and also what I know about your scalp symptoms, your health history, and then giving you my thoughts about which cluster of markers might be associated with which hair loss disorders and which dermatologists I think that you should see for a differential assessment. But this video is not about that. It's about eliminating blockers to your answers. You can get close to answers without ever even talking to me, and here's what I'd recommend you do. Go to any of the large language models available worldwide. You can do ChatGPT, you can do Claude, just pick one. Then start a chat. Tell the large language model that you want help assessing your hair loss. Then provide some background about your health, your scalp, and your hair history. Then you want to provide some cosmetic photos of your hair loss globally, overall, just how it looks regularly. Just snap a few pictures of yourself with your phone from different angles. And then tell the AI that you have an upcoming dermatology appointment and you want help in understanding what kinds of hair loss you might have, and if any of your health, scalp, or hair history might influence your prospective diagnosis. Give it all that information and give it your global photos and just see what it says. After that, say that you are going to upload some trichoscopic photos of your scalp that you recently took. And then upload those photos and ask the AI to look at all of them and see if the markers that are present might corroborate or complicate their initial assessment. Upload as many microzoomed photos as you can, label them by the scalp regions, and then ask it to examine these photos as if they are a dermatologist who specializes in hair loss disorders. If you've done this correctly, the AI will then give you a list of markers that it sees in your scalp, which hair loss disorders that might or might not relate to, and what this means in the context of your global photographs alongside your health, your scalp, and your hair history that you've provided it so far. Now, here is the thing. These large language models are good directionally. They are not even close to perfect. Far from it. I routinely see them mistake transplanted hairs as lichen planopilaris, for example, because it sees a lot of single hairs per hair follicle cluster, all of the same caliber, and no vellus hairs, and it forgets about the context that you told that maybe you had a transplant, and now it confuses that with what would look like lichen planopilaris without that context. I've also seen these systems mistake blurry photos as evidence of smoothened skin linked to scarring, and they also have a habit of getting almost too creative with their analysis and going over the top, maybe over-indexing on markers that don't really deserve a lot of attention or that are perhaps artifacts of the photo quality and not necessarily real markers. For example, misinterpreting a peripilar sign as being an empty hair follicle because it's not catching the slight vellus hair emerging from it. With all that in mind, these systems are substantially better than the run-of-the-mill dermatologist looking through their own dermatoscope going, I don't see anything, it looks good to me. So take the good with the bad, and whatever the large language model says, ask it to then help you prepare for your upcoming dermatology appointment. Have it summarize any peculiarities in your microzoomed photos, including symptoms from your own health, your scalp, your hair, that might warrant further investigation or possibly even warrant a biopsy. Now, the large language model will also likely try to make treatment recommendations for you. For the time being, please ignore these. Most of the recommendations right now are more or less hacked by marketers. For more information, watch our video on AI curing hair loss. We give a couple examples of how it gives completely inaccurate treatment advice. Now take that summary and rewrite it so it sounds like your own voice, and then print it out on a one sheet that you can bring with you to your dermatology appointment. Also, if you'd like, include any specific microzoomed images that the AI indicated might be atypical, if those are present at all. Again, most people who do this analysis shouldn't necessarily find something that is atypical that would be antithetical to the definition, but if you do, be sure that you include it. Now, this one-sheeter that you're bringing, it's just there to help guide your real-life appointment. And you're now walking into this appointment super prepared. So when you inevitably see your dermatologist, assume that you just have 15 minutes with them at most. Take the first 60 seconds to say that you know their time is valuable and that you've put together a page to catch them up to speed out of respect for their time. Always placate their ego, always let them feel in control. Otherwise, you risk them getting combative, dismissive, or defensive. I'm sorry, you have to play this game. You have to go in with an objective, but you also need to wear your kid gloves when speaking with most of these people. Use that first minute to have them read your summarized version of your health, your scalp, and your hair history, along with any key symptoms or markers that AI tool identified in its own assessment. And then approach the rest of the appointment very collaboratively. Rather than demanding a dermatoscopic assessment, tell the dermatologist how much you've been looking forward to having their eyes, a real expert, on your scalp with a microscope thing that they use. Positive framing will allow you to move the appointment forward in the direction you need this to go. And as they're making that assessment, you can reiterate any peculiarities about your hair loss case that might suggest it's a little more complicated. Let them give their thoughts. And if they pivot to trying to sell you into things like laser therapies or PRP or Nutrafol, tell them that you are thrilled to hear their recommendations, but first, you want to get absolute clarity on your hair loss diagnosis. Make them give you that diagnosis. Ask if they see any associated scalp conditions. Ask if, given your case, they'd recommend a biopsy at this stage. And if they say no, and you're good with that, then great. And if you're not good with that, then push a little bit harder, insist. Or if they say, yes, sure, we can do a biopsy, hopefully you've already done the research into their dermatopathology partners and can confirm that their report is going to be great. And again, if you have reservations, a lot of dermatopathology labs will preserve their analysis through photos, slides, staining assays, etc. So you can personally take those things as a patient and then bring them to other groups for a second opinion. And after all of this, maybe you didn't see the best dermatologist, but you did put yourself in the best possible position for a thorough, grounded hair loss diagnosis at a reasonable speed. Not 18 months, but maybe weeks or a month from when you decided to take this journey. And that is going to give you the direction that you need to start tackling the causes of your hair loss one by one. And after all this, if your dermatologist tries to revisit that upsell for maybe a $5,000 exosome injection, tell them you'd love to take home an informational pamphlet about that procedure. And when you do, burn the pamphlet and then use it as rocket fuel to get to our next barrier in the Great Filter. You can also ask these derms if there are any hair loss specialists that they refer out to more complicated cases. You can get their name, get that referral if you feel it's warranted, and then you just gotta get out of there. It's this strategy that, in my eyes, puts the most hair loss patients in the best position for success. Is it perfect? No, not even close. But do you have 18 to 24 months to wait for a top dog hair loss specialist? If not, then this strategy gets you as close as possible and as quickly as possible to a strong diagnosis. And that really means something when you're facing a hair loss disorder that might be chronic, progressive, and without treatment is going to worsen, especially immune alopecias and inflammatory alopecia. It is a terrible tragedy that people in these positions end up waiting this long for a real answer. And this is my very best attempt to use widely accessible tools from the comfort of your own home to get you there quicker. Above all, keep in mind that most adults facing progressive hair loss and seeking treatments for it, they'll typically have androgenic alopecia or pattern hair loss. And in these cases, There's no need to jump through hoops for a diagnosis or delay treating this condition. For those looking for support here, as you await a more robust hair loss assessment or execute on the action items I've described in this video, you can get treatments for androgenic alopecia. You can get them relatively quickly. I mean, we created the telehealth brand Ulo to help facilitate your access to best-in-class treatments for androgenic alopecia. And this includes low-dose topicals, high-dose topicals for finasteride and dutasteride. It includes combination topicals of minoxidil with retinoic acid. And we think that this is a level of personalization that is unrivaled by any other telehealth brand out there. It's built on the clinical evidence. It's delivered to you discreetly and directly pending a prescription. You can check that out in the links below. But in the interim, I really hope this video helps you out. I can't thank you enough for watching, and thank you again for supporting this channel in any capacity. We will keep finding ways to pay this back to you. We have a few things brewing that I cannot wait to talk to you about in future videos. Until next time.